Andrew Rosindell.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I rise to speak this afternoon in support of my amendments, new clause 85 and new clause 86. And I'd like to thank my honourable friends, the members for Harwich and North Essex, Morden, Clacton, Basildon, Billericay, South Basildon and East Thurrock, Rayleigh and Wickford and Broxbourne for supporting both amendments. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, my first amendment, new clause 85, this amendment seeks to ensure the boundaries of the ceremonial county of Essex are once again aligned with the historic county as they were for many hundreds of years. In fact, for well over a millennium. And it was only in 1964 under the Local Government Act implemented in 1965 that changed. So the entire history of the constituency that I represent, except the last few decades, has been as part of the historic county of Essex. So my amendment would combine the historic Essex with the ceremonial Essex, and I believe this will end the confusion and allow the people of my fine county to once again fully celebrate the rich heritage of the county of Essex in its entirety. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, if I may explain a little further, the entire country, the identity of each county, is actually very important to all of our constituents. People are proud of their historic county identity, and it is reflected in so many ways, whether it's through sporting, whether it's social activities, whether it's the church, whether it's the local regiment, whatever it may be, we are proud of our county identity. And it should not be muddled up with administrative councils which chop and change, as we are now seeing again today. So, historic and ceremonial counties, that is for cultural celebration, that is for historic purposes, and therefore the Lord Lieutenancies of the different historic counties and ceremonial counties really should be as one. Now that would end the confusion. And in my borough, which is the so-called London borough of Havering, and everyone knows if they come to Havering that it's really Essex, it's not London at all, we are constantly confused by where we are. And the people of my borough are tired of this, and they want this muddle and confusion caused by bureaucrats in the 1960s to end. It would be a very simple thing to resolve. It wouldn't change, I say to the Minister, any of the local government changes that the government are proposing. It's nothing to do with local government. This is purely ceremonial and historic. You cannot, Madam Deputy Speaker, have three definitions of counties: administrative, ceremonial and historic. The muddle is a nonsense, and we have to end that muddle, and therefore I hope she will consider seriously, and I've raised it with ministers over and over again in my 25 years as a member of this House, that they should consider putting the historic counties and the ceremonial counties together. That deals with the historical and ceremonial side of things, which is part of our identity, completely divorced from any local government boundaries which may change from time to time. Now, of course, Essex was founded way back in AD 527 by the East Saxons. So it's 1.5 millennia of Essex. And so you can understand how people in Romford and in Havering, and indeed in other boroughs, the east of the River Lee, frankly don't understand why their identity has been taken away from them. And this does need to be resolved, and I really hope the government will use this opportunity to deal with the ceremonial historic boundaries, which means the lieutenancies are reconfigured to make sense and to give people back their local identity, especially, as my amendment says, in Essex. And Essex could lead the way, Madam Deputy Speaker, so that other counties can do the same. Now, if I can refer now to my second amendment, which is new clause 86. And new clause 86 is something completely separate. This is about local government. It's not about particular identity. It's not about counties particularly or anything that I've just spoken to regarding New Clause 85. This is purely about local and regional government. So this is administrative. Now, in the 1960s, once again, the Local Government Act of 1963, without really the consent of my borough, we were taken out of the Essex County Council area and we were placed under what they called Greater London. Now, as I've said earlier, we are not really London. We're Essex. We're close to London. We travel to London. We go to London for lots of reasons, but our identity and our heritage is really Essex. And I have to say, the mayoralty of London in the last year has not worked for boroughs like Havering. It may work for inner London, but it really doesn't work for boroughs on the very edge of Greater London, which pay in colossal sums of money and do not get the services that we are funding. If you come to my constituency, you will not see the police stations we used to have. You barely see a policeman. You will pay the ULEZ charge, even though we have clean air quality. We have the Freedom Pass for our pensioners, and rightly so, but we pay extra for that. We don't get that free from the Mayor of London. My borough pays into that scheme, so we buy into that system, and I have a bill before Parliament to address that issue as well at the moment, to do with Transport for London concessionary schemes. So my new Clause 86, what I'm proposing, Madam Deputy Speaker, is to give the people of Havering the right. And we believe in democracy and we believe in devolution. So will the Minister please give my borough the right to make a decision, the right in a referendum to decide whether or not they would like to withdraw from the Greater London Authority, and instead the residents of Havering would have the option of joining the new Greater Essex Combined County Authority. Now, I don't deny this needs negotiation. I don't deny this needs reconfiguration. But this is a serious prospect. You cannot be part of Essex for hundreds and hundreds of years and suddenly be taken out of it without repercussions, particularly, as what I've explained, that the appearances that my borough is effectively subsidising inner London. We have had enough. We want the choice. So if we truly believe in democracy and if this government is genuine about devolution, my borough could easily change and become part of the Greater Essex Combined County Authority. And all I'm asking, Madam Deputy Speaker, is for us to have that debate and to be given a choice. There are differences of opinion. Some people think we're better off in Greater London. Others think that actually we'd prefer to be part of an Essex authority. But surely every member of this House believes in democracy, do they not? I hope so. And every member of this House should at least allow boroughs like mine, right on the extremities of Greater London, to have that choice. So I'm asking for a referendum. I'm asking for this to be considered. I'm asking for my constituents to have the democratic right to make the decision about where we truly belong and what best suits our local borough. I certainly give way to my honourable friend.
Dr Ben Spencer.
He's so kind of giving way. I thank my honourable friend for giving way. I may just say so. My constituency, Runnymede and Weybridge, is on the outskirts of London. We're not in London. We're very much in Surrey. However, we suffer from the fact that many decisions affecting my constituents on a day-in, day-out basis are made in London and often to our detriment, and we have absolutely no control over it. So I recognise the strong point that he's making, but I just want to also reflect, even if he's able to withdraw from the administrative unit of London, he will not escape negative decision-making by the current Mayor of London.
Well, I couldn't agree more with my honourable friend, and that's why fundamental reform of the Greater London Authority and the Mayor of London needs to take place. I personally do not believe we need a Greater London Authority. I believe we should transfer powers back to local boroughs, local towns and communities, and if we have some kind of authority for London, it should be purely dealing with the capital, which is the central part of London. Frankly, do we need a Greater London Authority that goes all the way from Hampton Wick up to Havering Atty Bower, from Ruislip down to Biggin Hill? We don't need it. It's a complete unnecessary layer of government. I prefer the authority, the power and the funding to go direct to our towns and our villages and our boroughs that are controlled locally by elected councillors, not this huge bureaucracy in City Hall which is unaccountable undemocratic, and has very little support with anyone I speak to. Of course I will, yes.
Alison
Thank
Bennett.
the honourable member for giving way. I'm just interested in how far he would propose that this goes. Would he, say, advocate for the abolition of the Mayor of London as well?
Yes, I would, personally.
Rosindell.
I personally would. Madam Deputy Speaker, you undoubtedly will recall, undoubtedly recall that our former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher abolished the Greater London Council. Honourable member opposite will remember that very well because he sat on the Greater London Council at the time. In 1986, the Greater London Council was abolished. And what happened? The power went back to each borough across London. We didn't have to pay this huge precept. We paid our way for policing and fire brigade and things of that sort. But generally speaking, the powers returned, as I hope the Liberal Democrats believe in, truly to local communities. So we didn't have this overarching bureaucracy interfering in everything we do, from planning to transport to policing and all the rest of it. So power locally, surely the Liberal Democrats, I would hope, believe that power should be as local as possible. So this overarching bureaucracy in City Hall, which is so unaccountable, really needs to go. And no, I don't believe we need a Mayor of London. I do believe we need to have local authorities working together where there's strategic things to be discussed, whether it's transport or planning, infrastructure, but we don't need to create this monstrous bureaucracy. And I think Margaret Thatcher was right to abolish the GLC, and I think Tony Blair was absolutely wrong to bring back the GLA and all the paraphernalia and all the bureaucracy with it, and, by the way, a huge cost to the council taxpayers of the Greater London area. So on that note, Madam Deputy Speaker, I ask members of this House to please support new clause 85 and 86 to restore our Essex identity and to give us the democratic right to decide our own future.